I want to talk to you about the way narcissists text message you. It's in mind blowing. If you guys don't know, I was recently in a narcissistic relationship, and I clocked the T, and I learned how to bow out gracefully, because if you don't, a narcissist cannot just end a relationship on a good, positive note. There has to be like some drama involved, right? And so don't engage into it. Just like, okay, I understand, I get it, you know what I'm saying, cool, you know, and keep it friendly and cordial. Do not engage, right? So let's talk about the way narcissists engage in communication. And I love communication. When I was in high school and college, I majored in communication. I loved it so much. And nowadays, there are so many ways to communicate with people, but one of the most effective ways is no communication at all. It's very telling to just go silent, okay? So I want to talk to you about the ways narcissistic people or narcissistic people with narcissistic tendencies communicate. And I just want to say, I think narcissistic people are just very immature, and hopefully they will grow. But at the end of the day, people can change. A narcissist doesn't want to change. A narcissist can't change, okay? That's just, understand that, okay? Once you understand that, life will be a lot better. And it sucks because sometimes you're like, man, this is a really good person. This is a really good catch. If, but if they could just, you know. So first of all, let's start with what I believe how this happens. Narcissistic people, it's something that they have some childhood trauma they had learned from their parents, or they were like really good at sports and they're just praised, and they just think they're just God's gift to the world, which I think that version is like probably the worst. The ones that grew up with childhood trauma, I think they can learn to be a little more nicer, but ultimately they won't bend all the way, you know? I always feel like, and I know this to be fact, for someone to have a healthy mind, right? You have to have the ability to bend. Okay, it's just like, I've learned this part from Dr. Romney, is that a healthy person, let's say they can run, they can jog, they can jump, or they can do squats or whatever. They're very flexible, right? That is a healthy person, right? When it comes to the terms of just them moving around. When it comes to like mental health, someone who is mentally healthy in their mind, they can be very flexible. If something happens, like they get a flat tire, they're not gonna be stuck in it. They're not gonna let it ruin their whole entire day. It's okay to be upset for an hour or two, I get that, but not like just for the fact that it would just like ruin everything. Like they're so upset that you just don't even want to talk to them, or you just want to help fix it because they're just so upset, right? And so I think a person who has narcissistic tendencies, they just blow up over the smallest little thing. Like, I can't believe it's raining so bad. I hit something, hit my car, and this thing fell off. Or like, I can't believe this person said that to me. How dare them? And like, it's a lot of that, okay? Narcissistic people, they're not very flexible. And that's one thing I've noticed with narcissistic people. Back to text messaging, and this is coming from what I dealt with, is if you don't interact with them or you don't talk to them, and you're not the one initiating energy, they will kind of go like radio silent for a while. If they feel like you did something bad or wrong, they'll go radio silent for a while. I don't think that's the best way to do things. I think a healthy person would say, hey, do you have a minute? Is everything okay? Is this a good time to talk? Okay, so this is where I'm at. And you talk about what you're upset about. But to go like no contact for days and weeks because they're upset at something you did, I don't think is healthy at all. Okay, if you really care about somebody, you communicate these things to them. However, with narcissistic people, they're trying to like punish you, okay? And then when they do text you back, it's like always like some drama or something shady or something spiteful, because they're trying to get you to engage with them again. They're trying to start a conversation where you would start an argument with them, because all they know is chaos and confusion. So if they're gonna text you back, oh, I see how it is, you don't text me no more, always hanging out with your new friends, as opposed to saying something like, hey, you know what, like, I haven't talked to you in a while, you've been heavy on my mind, just wanna see everything's okay. That's a good way to do it. But narcissistic people, they just can't do that. It has to come with some type of drama-infused text message where you're like, I haven't talked to this person in a couple days. Wow, I feel so at peace. And then they text you some drama and you're like, what is this behavior? And then you just don't dive into it. Don't argue back. Don't start an argument. Don't be combative. Don't be sassy. Don't be, the double hat slap compliment. Don't say anything to that nature. Instead, just be like, okay, I understand. I appreciate you for letting me know. Like that. Just try to just relax. Don't start into that whole drama, okay? The thing is, if you start the argument with them, they got you back in, right? So the best way is what I learned from Dr. Romney. It's just called like gray rocking. And so like gray rocking is being very short, very cordial with them to the point that they're like, oh, this person, they're not, I'm bored of this. This person's boring, right? They're not like giving me compliments. They're not doing all these things to make me feel special. Ugh, this person's boring. And they'll move on to the next person. God. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to anger them or upset them because they're going to ruin your life. Okay, let's just make that clear. So once you find out that this person has enough narcissistic tendencies that you feel like this person is a narcissist, once you feel that way, just tread lightly and be kind and hope and wish them the best, right? And I really believe that like narcissistic people, because I'm talking about relationships as just like a boyfriend or girlfriend, but this goes beyond that. Like if it's a mother, it's a sister-in-law, a brother, like someone you live with, that's even harder if you live with them. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for y'all. I feel if you live with them. You never know what you're gonna get, right? But gray rocking, I think, is a very good technique. A lot of people don't believe in it, but I've used it and it works. It's just, you just be very subtle, be very kind, just give them very low energy. You know, you come across boring, so they don't want to engage with you, and then move on to the next person, right? And I think that it sucks because part of my situation was like, I didn't know a person's a narcissist. I had no idea. I actually find narcissistic people very interesting because they're so different. The ability to not have emotions is very interesting, right? The ability to it always be about themselves. I'm just like, wow. And I think that a lot of people are narcissists. They have narcissistic tendencies, but when you have too many tendencies, then it becomes a problem. One thing I've noticed about narcissists is that it always comes with some form of an addiction, whether it be sex addiction, whether it be alcoholic abuse, whether it be drugs. There's always something there to cope with it, right? Narcissistic people, I've learned, are very miserable. They are just, they don't really like their life. Like they're very like small people in the inside, but they portray this grandiose personality, like they're just like the best and this and this and this. And sometimes that personality is exacerbated even more when they're on some type of substance, if that makes sense, right? Whatever their case is. But that's something I've known about narcissists. It always comes with some type of addiction, right? And it could be maybe gambling, it could be drinking or smoking or sex addiction or something like that. There's always something there. I feel like narcissistic people are very sneaky. They're always trying to like hide stuff, and it's just, it's like they're trying to hide stuff so hard that it's like, why even hide it? You're trying to hide it so hard. Why? It mind blows my mind, that whole thing, right? So I find that they're very sneaky for no reason at all. And they're very like, they just care about what people think about them so much. And it's so weird because like, I don't, like if somebody needs a negative comment, whatever. If somebody says, hey, so-and-so said this about you, I'm like, oh my God, really? Is that gonna give me any views or something like that? Like I kind of feel that way. So I feel like narcissistic people, they're so like, they're so interesting, but they're stupid at the same time, right? Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's dumb because I am coming from a place of, I know how to communicate with people. I know the right ways to communicate with people. I know that there are manipulation tactics to get people to maybe like you more on a very basic level. Like, for example, like, don't chase, attract, right? If you really like somebody, you don't have to chase them. There are things that you can do called breadcrumbing, which is, show a little bit of interest. And then when you do show interest, it's a big interest and you kind of like withdraw back again and stuff like that. Like those are like manipulation tactics you could use to get someone to like you, right? Once you know those things and you see how narcissists are using that to try to get you, but they're doing it in a narcissistic way, it's like, come on, right? But these are things you don't know about it. And if you're struggling with a narcissist, I just want to say this, and I learned this from Dr. Romney again. It's like you're trying to climb up a hill to make it to the top of this mountain, and everyone's going it. But then you put this backpack on your back of like just remorse, regret, drama, narcissistic people, and your backpack is full of just bricks, and you're trying to go up this hill. You're not going to win the race. You're just not. However, the fact that you still finish and you make it through that narcissistic relationship, those people, and I'm talking to you, if you make it out of a narcissistic relationship, I wrote it down in my notes because I found it to be so it's just beautiful. And like, let me see if I have it in here. I find that people who make it through narcissistic relationships, I find them to be, and I wrote it down from Dr. Rami, to be very flexible, they're resilient, the discernment, the cleverness, the knowing that survivors of narcissistic abuse have unlike any clinical population has ever came across, they are fantastic people. When you come out of a narcissistic relationship and you're able to see the patterns of behavior and you understand it and you see the bigger picture, when you see it, you come out at the other end of it so much more wiser, because you get to move on in life with this self of knowing, this flexibility, this discernment to see through these people. And like, why are you communicating this way when this would be a much more appropriate way to communication to get things done? Very interesting. And so the fact that I've dealt with a narcissist, now when I move, I felt like I literally just took like a 5-year course at Harvard, because I'm like, this was very interesting. And it was just like, for me at least, it was like, wow, people actually live like this. I can't believe it. And then the fact that they think they're gonna go through life and find somebody and be in a meaningful relationship, and it's like, this is not gonna work for you because you haven't even worked on yourself. And the thing about narcissistic people is they don't know they're a narcissist and they won't seek help. It's often the people who were abused by the narcissist are the ones getting help. But those people, and if you're one of them, leave a heart in the comments down below if you are one of them who have been through or is going through a narcissistic abusive relationship. Once you get through that, you're so much more wiser, stronger, and you can see through people a little bit more better than you were before. And you're not so naive. You're so not more naive, you know? And I'm not saying that you become bitter. No. It's just a sense of you looking at things through a different lens, and you know not to give certain things energy because of it, right? If you can pick up what I'm putting down, hopefully you can. It's almost like that girl who has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend's like, oh, I'm going to sleep. I know it's so early. Good night, babe. And you're thinking like, oh, wow, this guy's so perfect. He's going out. He's going to bed early. But really, he's like telling you that, but he goes out with his friends and hooking up and stuff like that. And you have no idea, right? It's like, now you kind of like know, you know, you're not so like naive, but you're not going to like call it out in that moment, but you're just kind of like, okay. You just move differently. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing when you become a millionaire, right? You move differently. You don't really do the same things you used to because you're now a liability and people want to come after you and sue you for things. So you just kind of move differently, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like that. And so once you deal with a narcissist, you kind of know how to move a little bit differently. So anyways, I just wanted to make that video. Going back to the text messages, when you look back at a lot of the messages between the narcissist, and this is beyond the love bombing phase, when you look at the text messages, you're gonna see it's always about like them. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Oh, I'm so frustrated today. Oh, thank you for this, but I'm still having a bad day because X, Y, and Z. And like, it's always about them. There's always some problem. There's always some drama in their life. They're always a victim of something, right? And they be doing things that you had no idea they would even be doing. Like, why are you putting energy into that? Like, what? Like, that's like the weird part of it. Oh my God, drop that. That's the weird part of it. And so narcissistic people, I think, maybe this is the wrong attitude I should have right now, but I just find them like, I'm very curious to them because I feel like they're very strange people. It's like the calls are coming from inside the house, right? And one of the things I found out is that they're just so scared of, ultimately they're just so scared of rejection. And it's so weird. It's so weird how they could be so scared of rejection and how they communicate. And I find them interesting specifically is how they communicate. The love bombing in the beginning, the ignoring, then the love bombing again, the breadcrumbing, right? And they're all tactics that psychologically might work on people, but it's almost like they just can't tune in to the correct frequency of life. And it's like since they can't toggle and be on the same vibe with that same frequency, they can pretend to be, right? But once that mask stops slipping, and once they know that you see behind the mask, they start treating you differently. And that's interesting too, because they're almost like, shut up, and then they're gonna do their thing over here. But they know you know. They know that you know, but they don't want you to tell these other people that you know because you're gonna mess up their whole gig. Instead, they should just work on themselves, but they don't know that. right? If you have someone that's a narcissist and you still have love for them, or for whatever reason you have to interact with them, my best advice would be, this is my opinion, is either do two things: no contact, leave them alone, run for the hills. Or two, love them at a distance. Just, that's it. Love them at a distance. You already know walking into the situation. Let's say if the narcissistic person or people in my life were to hit me up and wanted to hang out, if I'm available and I have time and I can look sickening and snatched, if I can, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm down. But I'm gonna go into that situation knowing this is a narcissist. It's gonna be all about themselves, okay? Me. I'm the victim, and you just are expected to give love and praise. Once you know that going into it, you know what you're setting yourself up for. So you kind of already know how this movie's gonna end. So once you know that, then you know that. And you can be at an advantage. Love people at a distance. I don't really believe in this throwing people away. I believe in giving people second chances and third chances and fourth chances, but at the same time, you have to know when your heart just can't take enough. Because trust me, with the narcissistic people that I've had in my life, I have never known the many ways that a heart can be broken until you've dealt with a narcissist. And with that, I still cherish it because I came out stronger, more wiser, more resilient, more flexible, and the amount of discernment I got from it, you would be shocked, okay? Anyways, let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Rich Sucks, the hottest news on, YouTube. Bye.